Welcome back to Primetime News. And if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com, a very special welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. Up first this evening, incoherent and confusing. That's how the opposition spokesman on tourism, Dr. Wickham McNeil, is describing an announcement made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness about reopening of the country's borders. Now, Dr. McNeil says it's troubling that Jamaicans arriving up to June 14 must be tested for the coronavirus, while visitors can choose whether they want tests done. Vashon Brown has details.
The announcement, there are really some problems with it. There seems to be some confusion, some incoherence with it.
Opposition spokesman on tourism, Dr. Wickham McNeil, reacting to announcements made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness at a press conference on Sunday. As of today, the airports reopened for Jamaicans to enter the country. Mr. Holness said the government will seek to implement new control re-entry protocols.
Countries that have a similar management and profile result for the epidemic and other such criteria could constitute a travel bubble that would determine the protocols that would apply to their re-entry.
He said more details on the travel bubble will be provided soon. The Prime Minister noted, however, that the travel bubble would include countries with equal or better performance than Jamaica in the management of COVID-19. Nationals seeking to re-enter Jamaica from these countries may not need to be tested on arrival, but they would, however, go through health status screenings. Jamaicans entering from countries outside the travel bubble would be subject to testing. Non-Jamaican travellers will be allowed to enter the island effective June 15. Testing will be voluntary and they won't be subject to quarantine. The opposition spokesman on tourism argues that it's troubling that Jamaicans have to be tested, while visitors can choose whether they want tests done.
All the workers that came on the cruise ship, all the persons who have arrived by air up to now have been both tested and quarantined. And then on the 15th, we're not going to open up with nothing at all. This is a double standard. It's one set of rules for one and another set of rules for the other. And quite frankly, I think that it says something to a sovereign nation how you treat your own nationals versus visitors.
Even though we are allowing persons to come in, they will have to be screened. We will be doing the temperature checks. We have advanced machines at both airports that can do mass temperature checks. We will have our public health officers there who will be physically looking and observing for symptoms, and we will go through a process of sensitization. And if through that process we pick up persons who are of interest to us in this regard, then we will require them. The public health officer will have the duty and the authority to require them to be tested.
For Dr. McNeil, with the reopening of the tourism sector, the safety of the workers must be front and center.
It's not going to be perfect and it's going to be difficult. But safe is good, especially safe for our workers in the industry who are coming in contact with all these visitors. So you're going to be having flights coming in from countries, and our main markets that we're looking at are the US and Canada. We are the epicenter of this, of the virus. And in Jamaica, where we have just gotten it under some semblance of control, you open it up. I would really have to see what the rationale behind that is.
In the region, Antigua and Barbuda today became the first CARICOM country to reopen its international airport amid stringent health protocols to limit the spread of the coronavirus. In Europe, Italy plans to allow tourists from EU countries from June 3, when mandatory quarantine for visitors will be lifted. Switzerland plans to reopen its borders with France, Germany and Austria on June 15, but not with Italy. France plans to reopen its borders from June 15 initially to tourists from Switzerland and Germany. Spain says that from July 1, tourists will be allowed in without having to spend 14 days in quarantine. Vashon Brown, TVJ News.